Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Takedown, our series of unfiltered conversations about tobacco and advocacy within communities most impacted by the tobacco industry. My name is Amani Desamours, Federal Advocacy Associate with the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. Today, we are joined by Pastor Teresa. She has been a pastor of Matters of the Heart Christian Ministries and doing community organizing for 25 years. She is also an expert in community engagement. Pastor Teresa, thank you for joining us today on The Takedown.
You are welcome. It is great to be with you.
Thank you for joining us. So I just want to start by having you tell us a little bit more about yourself. So you've been called a master, not just of ministry, but of community organizing. Can you speak about your role as a community organizer?
Sure. I can tell you that, let me start by saying I do thank God for this privilege and honor. And the work that I do is, I think I'm a called pastor to the whole world. But that is saying that, organizing is a part of putting things together and understanding strategy. And I've kind of been doing it my whole life. I mix the two. So the organizing world for me has definitely been on justice issues. From a little girl, I can tell you that I believe I started organizing it really at about 17 when I worked for a company that wouldn't give us Sundays off for Easter. And I protested and took all of the young people that worked for the shoe company to all call in. So that was organizing. And from that time forward, I found myself doing things that would benefit people. And so that organizing started a long time ago. The organizing work that I have done throughout my career has been with statewide organizing, national organizing, and specifically a lot of civic engagement work that will put people out in the field to do things that would stand up for themselves and for people that can't stand up for themselves. So it's almost been like a lifetime.
Absolutely. So that lifetime role of community organizing is an important role for you, but you also bring your role as a faith leader into everything that you do. So what is the role of faith leaders in the fight to remove menthol cigarettes and other flavored tobacco products from the market?
Well, I think it has a combination of roles. One, I would say that those that are faith walkers have to do exactly that. They have to walk that talk. And people hear those phrases a lot, but they're not easily done because you, as a faith leader, you have to walk it, meaning that you're going to also sacrifice time in it. You're going to put in sometimes more than you think you get out. But that's a part of the leadership and a part of the faith. The other thing that comes to my mind when I say the role of faith leaders in this particular fight is that a lot of times we talk about the mind, the body, and the spirit. Well, we do pretty good on the mind part. We do pretty good on the spirit part. But what part do you think we neglect? The body.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Tobacco-Free Kids or the National Tobacco Campaign, period, for me, deals with that particular point and issue that a lot of times we neglect. And that's everybody. You don't even have to be a believer. We just neglect these bodies. But the Tobacco-Free Campaign reminds us, if we say that these bodies are important, or if we want to quote scripture and say that the body is a temple, then we need to try to take care of the temple. And in order to do that, we have to fight for ourselves. And in this case, we're fighting for each other because specifically, we know for a fact that African Americans are targeted in this industry, that they go after those that are young. They're going after those that they can get. I mean, as they would say long time ago, free, you could get it free. Why? So that you could start and be addicted. So I think those are the roles that we have to play, is to remind people we have a body. We don't get 2 or 3 of them. We don't have 9 lives like a cat, We have one, and we need to try to do good with that life that we have and the body that we have. And that can be challenging. And smoking is one of those things that it's a fight, but it can be won. And I love the theme, Amani, that they give us on this year. Focus on victory, go against the grain. That kind of says a lot within itself.
Absolutely. And speaking of that fight against smoking and fighting for ourselves and each other, as you know, No Menthol Sunday is coming up on May 21st. Can you explain a little bit more about what this day is all about for our viewers?
So, No Menthol Sunday gives us an opportunity across the country to stand together, to lift voices that are meaningful and that are powerful, because we send a message. And that message is that if we eliminate the menthol, we would be able to do so much better together in terms of other fights that we have. Because of menthol, lives are taken every day. Again, facts that we have learned in the African American community is that 45,000 African Americans or Blacks lose their lives to different illnesses that come from smoke. So we know that that gives us an opportunity to look at it, to concentrate. It is one day, but one day can make a difference if you take that one day and then do other things afterwards. So the whole country focuses on it, says, okay, we're going to do without, and we're going to encourage from that day forward. And it gives us an opportunity as well to educate, because a lot of people don't know the facts. They may not know that they're targeted. They may not know or understand the history of tobacco, the history of slavery, and how so many of these things connect to each other. And then it also gives us an opportunity to educate our young. And I shared with someone today, earlier this morning, I said, we're planting seeds. And so what better way to plant a seed is to say, here's one thing that you can do, you can take out of your life so that you can grow something good into your life.
So what specific themes are churches and faith leaders using to get people involved in No Menthol Sunday?
I'm glad you asked that question, Amani. I am loving the themes that have been given that are on posters and flyers. So besides focus on victory, go against the grain, there's a flyer that has clouds and it says, get your head out of the cloud. Love it, because it gives a message and a vision. There's a theme that says, together we can save lives. How important is that? I'm not only concerned about my life, but I'm also concerned about others. There's a theme that talks about the tobacco industry wants to use us, and it says to hook us on their minty poison. How powerful is that? Minty poison. How often are we enticed or given things that seem like in that moment it's good for us, but it's deadly? So those are some of the things that we have, but I tell you, just being able to use those things and use them in a way where it kind of sticks with you. And I think sometimes it reminds us, even when we're fighting those battles, like trying to quit to smoke. Let me repeat this thought to myself. I need to get away from this minty poison.
So you personally have gotten several churches and faith leaders involved in this movement. What can those in the faith community and others do to continue planting seeds and educating their communities about banning menthol cigarettes?
We have lots of things that we can do. Well, I'm going to say, first of all, people like to move and do activities. So do that. There are so many parts of a kit. You can get a toolkit from the Tobacco-Free Kids, as well as the National No Menthol Sunday websites. And from those kits, you have yard signs, you have coloring books, you have posters and brochures. All of those things can be used in the community to not only raise consciousness, but to give something physically in people's hands so that they can be a part of it. The fun things, of course, are bringing children together. But even with that, have a color party, but talk about why smoke is not good for you. We have opportunities. Pastors can preach a sermon. They even give us the text to use. So, I mean, you have no excuse if they already give you what to preach and what to teach. There are activities that are going on throughout the communities that people can do. There are youth rallies and youth activities that are being done. For Take Down Tobacco Day, we even had a church service where we brought in a sheriff, and that sheriff was able to speak. So it's not just about the faith community, it's about the entire community. You can bring your elected officials to be a part of it, invite them in, let them know about what they can do. You can thank people. What about thanking people on No Menthol Sunday for being supportive and fighting that good fight? That's another good scripture that it talks about. Fight the good fight of faith. So you can get involved by doing so many different things. Be creative. Nothing's at the end of something. It's usually at the beginning of something that you can start and get so many things done.
I love that. And you talked a lot about getting young people involved and educating our young. Do you have any tips or advice to young advocates who are eager to drive positive change in their communities?
Yes, I would say number one is be yourself. Don't try to be a celebrity going out to be like somebody else. Be yourself, because all of us are gifted. We all have something to offer. So go inside of yourself. Okay, what's the best me? And what can I do to help somebody else? One thing that I do know, young people will listen to young people. So one of the things that I've shared in our community and even in my church is find out something you like to do. And then you go with that and share it with somebody else. So some young people like to sing, some dance, some do poetry. Get groups of young people together. Find ways that you then are still dealing with equity. You're still dealing with going against the grain. You're still dealing with victory, but you're doing it in a way that you can relate to it and other young people can relate to it. I'm always encouraged when I see youth and young adults decide, I can do that. You know, I can make a little twist to it. I can do it my way, but you're still doing it. So I definitely encourage them to be themselves and to go about making a difference one day and one step at a time.
I definitely feel encouraged after our conversation today. Pastor Teresa, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you and engaging in such a valuable discussion. Please visit nomentholsunday.org for more information on how you can participate in No Menthol Sunday, and stay tuned for our next takedown and check out our other conversations as well. Thank you again, and I hope you have a great day.